Secretary, you'd be aware that I've had the opportunity to work with your staff in New York recently as part of the UN General Assembly. I just want to say thank you for their very professional conduct and engaging with the delegation that was there. Two things struck me though, one concerning Taiwan, one concerning Afghanistan. On the Taiwan front, the very clear, persistent agenda that is being driven there to convince members that Taiwan has no place in the United Nations. And you'll be aware from the motion that the Senate passed earlier this year, and again, Minister, I thank the government for their support in passing that motion, that that is not Australia's policy position, has not been since 1971, and an increasing number of nations around the world are recognising that Taiwan does have a constructive role to play. I'm just wondering if you could update the committee on what specific actions the government is taking to make opportunities for Taiwan to be involved in bodies where statehood is not a prerequisite, and particularly what are we doing with other nations or coalitions of nations to create those opportunities.
Thank you, Senator. As you rightly point out, we do have a One China policy and we do support Taiwan's meaningful participation in international organisations where statehood is a requirement. For membership, we support its participation as an observer or guest. Of course, you'd be aware in the World Health Assembly, we support Taiwan's participation and will continue to do so. Taiwan is also a member of a range of other economic entities, and including APEC, WTO, so we will continue to support that membership. I'm not sure if Mr Sloper would like to add anything. Thank you, Senator.
Sure. So there's support and then there's advocacy. And I guess my question is, are we moving from a general principle position of support to actively looking for partners, opportunities to leverage their involvement through whatever means? Are we moving beyond principled support to advocating for their engagement?
Thank you, Senator. I think the important principle here is inclusion, and where we believe that Taiwan's inclusion in these organisations is helpful, we have consistently advocated for its inclusion. For example, on health matters, it's very clear that it's important that Taiwan is there, it's at the table, it's getting the right information, it's giving the right information. So that is, we do advocate for that inclusion and we will continue to do so.
Are we, for example, taking the opportunity, whether it's in the World Health Assembly or other forums, to actually formally, as part of their business, move motions for Taiwan's involvement to be considered and debated, as opposed to just a statement of principle or position that we think they should be, albeit the numbers may not be there today. But one thing that struck me was that there are many nations who don't necessarily share our worldview that seek to dominate the narrative and the debate in forums such as the UN, and yet I don't see a similar push in those day-to-day mechanisms from nations who share our worldview.
Well, Senator, it's an important question. Certainly we are for inclusion. I can take on notice the specific... Oh, Daniel.
No, I was just going to add, Senator, sorry to interrupt, but yes, we do discuss this issue with a number of different countries, and I think you're making reference particularly to UN Resolution 2758, and we explain our position both in terms of the One China policy, in terms of Taiwan's active participation where it can in international organisations, and our support for that.
Sure. Advertising theory and political theory will often tell you that when you are sick of hearing about something, other people are just starting to hear it. And what we see, and what I observed, was that many nations were repeating as part of their commentary or statements around a resolution that may be up for a vote or discussing how it be implemented, they repeat their position again and again. And yet I didn't hear that coming from Australia consistently, nor a number of other nations who support our position. And I guess my point is that these are the opportunities for the annals of history to record what nations believe, what they think, and why a certain motion may be supported. Our officials at those posts should be including a repetition, a reinforcement of our position almost every time that they discuss relevant matters. I'd encourage you to take that on board to see how that could be incorporated.
Can I just acknowledge the important point you make about strategic communications and narrative contests? We're certainly in one. We've got to compete.
Indeed.